lot of things are happening around the co-op. People are really excited about fiber. We're excited about fiber. But it turns out we still have a pretty substantial electric business to run, right? We've got a lot of things going on behind the scenes to make the most value for our members and the membership that they have at the cooperative. They're the members who make us, right? And a lot of that behind the scenes, of course, we want the lights to come on, but there's a great deal of prep work that goes into that, whether it's proactive actions, load forecasting. We've had some crazy winter weather events too in the last few years. Bobby, you were front and center of that. What was going on behind the scenes to make sure that the lights stayed on?
Right, yeah, it was, Storm Elliott was extremely cold, and fortunately it didn't last quite as long time-wise as Storm Uri did, but from all these past storms, we've been able to learn a lot from them, get strategic plans in place to prevent power outages, and as well as our electrical engineers. Our power engineers do an awesome job coming in doing load studies, and then they're there countless hours during the storm, watching the temperatures, watching the loads and the peaks and so on, and then communicating that information with us in the field to go make adjustments as needed, like with fuse sizes or breaker settings and things like that to make sure that we can keep the power on and keep people's heat on and their lights on during these extreme weather conditions.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, all hands on deck. And Ross, you're right in between operations and engineering at dispatch. What did it look like from your end?
Oh, like they're saying, all hands on deck during those situations. We'll just continually monitor all of our substations, all of our feeders, and if they're getting anywhere close to going over what we set as a limit, we will have our dispatchers that are there 24/7. We'll work with them and our system techs and work on trying to get those adjusted to where your lights don't go off during those times whenever it's that extreme cold.
A lot of planning, and we sure appreciate everybody's efforts and working together to make that happen. It's not one particular department, right? In addition to what we're doing here, I know our power providers and just many power generating utilities across the country are having challenges with power supply issues because coal-fired plants are closing sooner than anticipated. There's a big push for renewable energy, which we support. We have a lot of members of that, but we're fortunate in the fact that our providers, Associated Electric out of Springfield, have a diverse portfolio mix so they can meet all of our needs all of the time. I think 22, I had some notes, over 60% was that coal base, and over 25% were from renewable energy sources. We have a lot of members that we service here in our backyard that are solar, we have some wind generation going on, but we want to make sure that they call us first because we can help them. And Ross, oftentimes they'll talk to you. How does that work?
Yes, we do have a lot of members that have solar or are looking into solar. So we encourage everybody to call us. The main reason is we want to make sure that that's going to be a fit for them. We'll be able to look at their usage history and see like how big of a system that you would want. If it's going to be too big, it may not pay off as well for them. So definitely call us. We'll be able to do a site survey, look at your usage history, and make sure that that is going to be a good fit for them.
So they're not paying for more than what they need, right?
Correct.
And that site survey helps check some boxes, right? Yes. What's the life status of the roof and where are they going to put it? Mm-hmm. All of those things that will help them on that return on
yes.
their investment,
mm-hmm.
right? But it does take a dedicated meter and some agreements that we have to do. Walk us through that.
We have what's called a net meter agreement. So they'll fill this out with the help of the solar vendor, and it will just explain how it's going to be installed, where the equipment's going to be, and then we'll go through a process and make some changes or approve that. So once they get it installed, we'll come out and inspect, make sure that it does not backfeed onto our system, because one of the main reasons we do this is we don't want it to backfeed whenever our linemen are out working on the lines. That voltage could very much hurt somebody. So it's a big safety aspect, is the main reason why we're doing that. So then after that, and it passes, we will install a net meter. And the net meter is a little bit different from our regular meters. The regular meters just read all of the energy going through it just one direction. The net meter is a bidirectional meter, so we're going to be able to accurately read what they're using, what they're producing, and then each month you'll be billed on what's called the net reading, which is the difference between what they've used and what they put back onto the system.
Well, and I think sometimes there's some confusion about what they're paid for that too, right? Because that's at a wholesale rate, just as our power providers pay for it. So what they don't use, then they sell back at that wholesale rate. So figuring that when they're looking at what the return on investment is going to be really is key, that, you know, a big piece of that puzzle.
It is, and according to the state of Missouri, that's how we will reimburse that, through that wholesale rate. So that's why you don't want to build too big of a system, because your amount of return on investment is going to be a lot longer time in order for that to happen. So you definitely want to make it size for like what your current needs are for your residents.
Well, because the idea is to save,
Yes.
right? Not pay here or pay here, it's to pay less.
Yes.
Right, so that's key in calling first and walking through those steps to make sure it's a right fit for that particular location.
It is.
Whether it's a net meter or just meter for general home and business, that's a dedicated meter that you're working to switch out now, right? And it's AMI. Tell us what AMI stands for.
Yeah, AMI is Advanced Meter Infrastructure. It is the same technology that we've had for over 20 years, but every meter has a lifespan. So most of our meters have come up to that lifespan, so we've been exchanging those for the past several years. And we're wrapping up that program, and we're in kind of the southern Stone County area, Kimberling City to Branson West, Indian Point area, changing meters. So a lot of people in that area will start seeing White River Valley Electric Cooperative employees changing their meters out.
Okay, well, they like seeing their friendly faces in the area, and whether it's changing meters or doing system improvements. We've got some monthly checks going. I know, Bobby, you're out in the field doing that with some others. Tell us what that looks like.
Yeah, so we do monthly inspections of all of our substations and our downline devices, all of our critical equipment downline as well, just to do a visual check and also to make sure that they're in proper order, so that helps prevent outages. So we do that on a monthly basis, and then we're also on a routine schedule of changing that equipment out on a certain regular basis to ensure, again, that it's going to stay in proper working order. So.
Well, and I'm sure that helps to see things before they're happening.
Absolutely.
So it's not a truck's roll, it's we're doing that during the day, and we're making sure it's reliable and the lights are coming on, the heat's on, the air is on, whatever
Right.
it may be, but you guys are there doing it. There's system-wide or special projects that you have a hand in too. Walk us through
Right.
some of that.
Right, yeah. So some of our upgrades to our system includes, like last year, for example, we put a new transformer in the substation in Cedar Creek. And so that was a needed improvement there. And then this next year, we've got scheduled to have a second transformer added into our substation located on Jobald Road. And because of all the growth that's happened over the last few years down Jobald Road, that substation has become severely overloaded. So we've got that on the plans, and it's very critical that that happens next year as well.
Yeah, and it's important that we serve the members that we have and meet the growing demand
Right.
for potential members coming in. It's beautiful here.
Yes.
That's why people want to live around the lake, they want to live around the water, and we want to support that, but it does require special needs, doesn't it? So, well, we've talked about the system, but we also need to maintain the beautiful land around it. Brian, tell us about right-of-way.
We do live in a very beautiful part of the country, and but it is very heavily forested, as we all know, which makes it a huge challenge to manage the vegetation in the right-of-ways. But it's something that has to be done in order to keep the power on.
Sure.
We utilize an IVM process, which stands for Integrated Vegetation Management Program.
Okay.
And what that consists of is a multitude of different methods and procedures to combat the vegetation as it grows, whether that be manual cutting and pruning, mechanical cutting and mowing, herbicide applications, TGR applications, spot treatments wherever it's needed. That's what we do. We started this program about 10 years ago, and that was a reclamation phase. So we went through the entire system and reclaimed the right-of-way because we had a lot of large trees that had been left for years, decades. that had to go, and that was kind of a painful process. But we made it through it, and we're now in the general maintenance cycle, which should be, you know, much less invasive. As we come through, you're not going to notice it as much. We're just doing trimming, mowing, and those herbicide treatments in between, and we're going to do that on a 5-year cycle. To do that, we got to cover about 800 miles a year of trimming and mowing, about 1,400 miles a year of herbicide. So it's a big undertaking.
It's a cost savings too, right? You
Absolutely.
reclaim that so you don't have to do everything every time. You can just come
Right.
back and do it where needed.
Yep.
And I think, didn't that put us in a gold standard for some right-of-way work?
It did. So this last year, we were awarded the proclamation, if you would say, from the International Society of Arboriculture. And what that is they named us a Treeline USA company. And what that means is that we submitted our methods and strategies and the things that we're doing to combat the vegetation, and that we're doing it the right way in their eyes. But it's not only that. You know, we also participate in Arbor Day. We go to the schools in our communities and we plant trees with the kids, and we talk about right tree, right place, things like that.
That's so fun.
And yeah, it's a
those
good
kids
time.
get right in there. They love planting the trees.
They get in there and shovel dirt, get in the hole, and get dirty. Yeah, they love it. They do. But
And we love doing it.
we do. But that was an honor for us to receive that. There's only a handful of utilities in the state of Missouri that have that.
Proud and humbled.
Absolutely.
It's really working because we have less outages.
Yeah.
We're out for less amount of time if we do have an outage, because those tree outages are some of the most costly that we have to mitigate, right?
Yeah.
And they happen the most, so as it so goes. So it all comes around a cycle there, not only for the costs and lowering costs, but reliability. But internally, we're doing a lot of work on maximizing our functionality through employee training and new software. Tell us how dispatch is working.
So Ross mentioned earlier that we've got dispatch 24/7, 365. So we've always got somebody in the seat that's monitoring the entire system. What's going on load-wise? Are there outages? Are there blinks? They're sitting there monitoring that. And as those problems arise, then they dispatch crews out to address them. Now, they're highly trained in what we call OMS, or Outage Management System. And that's just the entire system in general. But one of the key components of that is called SCADA. And SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition.
Okay.
So what that means is let's say we have a fault out there on the line somewhere, squirrel, tree, whatever it is. It could be a momentary blink, or it could be an actual outage that locks the line out to where it's de-energized and we have to send crews out to turn it back on. Dispatch will see that, they will get an alert, then they will go into their system, and they can actually input the data and pinpoint where the problem is a lot of times within a few hundred feet.
Wow. Yeah.
So that really speeds up the process of getting the crews out there and getting the power back on, which is what we're all about, right? The shorter outages that we have, because we're going to have them, it's just a given. But if we can limit the time they're out and the amount of that we have, then we're winning.
Yeah, winning.
That helps us a lot, like you said, with our job. And as well as that, I've been on many outages where you get out, you show up on this at this location, and the member wasn't even aware they were out of power. You know, so we get out there, and because of this system, we can see that outage when it takes place. Now, we still encourage our members to call in, you know, if they're aware they're out of power. But with this system, it's an excellent tool.
Well, SCADA and our dispatchers, they're really the key ingredient to outage communication.
The eyes and
So,
ears.
yeah, the eyes and ears. And like you said, sometimes they may not even know that you're there.
Right.
But they're still going to get the same level of service because we've either identified it through our intuitive system, we're tracking it on Smart Hub, they're reporting accurate information on Smart Hub, and then we can turn it around to engineering and make strategic choices moving forward, whether it be equipment or things for right-of-way that need to be done, right? So all pieces of the pie, and that also includes the folks on the other end when they call in and talk to somebody, and we've been doing a lot of training and just enhancing how that customer service delivery looks. Dustin, you've been front and center on that. Tell us a little bit about it.
We're doing a number of changes. We've had a number of changes over the last probably 12 months. One that I'm excited about is call monitoring. What call monitoring is, it's just recorded calls, and what we're doing with those is getting our team back together and listening to our calls, critiquing ourselves, and we're asking not only management, but also those that are taking the calls on a daily basis to give us feedback on our processes. We're critiquing ourselves 365 just to improve the experience of our members. We have 5 different locations, and our expectation is that as a member, when you call those locations, you're getting the same responses, the same timely responses, and a great experience every time. So,
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency, it's huge, and our communication is huge. When we're interacting with a member, we want to make sure that they feel good and they feel confident in us, because we should be that trusted advisor that's taking care of their electric 365, 24/7. So we're excited about that. Another thing that we're doing, or we accomplished over the last year, was providing a new payment option. And we all like new payment options. To each person is their own, and they might want a different payment option. So we provided the Pay Now feature on our website. And I think it really is a great feature for those that maybe don't have the Smart Hub app, or is just looking to make a quick payment. They don't want to make that phone call. You can go onto our website, click the Pay Now feature, put in your account number and your name, and you're off to the races making a payment or multiple payments. But I don't want that to overshadow all of our other great options.
Yeah, I'm a Smart Hub guy.
I'm a Smart Hub guy too.
Same.
It's kind of that one-stop shop, really. You can
Yes.
report an outage, you can get updates on outages, updates with what's going around the cooperative, whether it's lobby closes or you name it.
See your usage.
See your usage, your daily usage. That is so important, especially if we're trying to conserve and bring down that bill. So I highly encourage you to tell your friends and family, as a cooperative member, utilize Smart Hub. But we also have auto pay and a number of other features. But we're excited about the changes going on in our area.
And we even have online apps now for pretty much every service that we offer. So we can do business with anybody from their couch. So it works out there too. But if they do want to come in, we've got a lot of growth and looking forward to the future, right? I think Branson just got a facelift that is really providing some benefits. You've been firsthand in that as well. So tell us a little bit about Branson.
So with fiber coming on board, so will fiber employees, and we needed to make some space for them. So that brought on the remodel down in the lobby, and it looks great. We're very excited about it. Not only are we going to be able to serve oncoming fiber customers, but our current electric members much better. One benefit that we've already seen from the remodel, outside of just how great it looks and how inviting it is the collaboration. You have your veteran employees that know the cooperative and know the cooperative way and how to take care of those members in every situation and scenario. And then you have your oncoming new ones that are just learning. And it's great for them to sit side by side, those teammates, and be able to get great feedback and provide a better experience for our members.
Yeah, the best-in-class service. That's what we're always shooting for, right? Sometimes those upgrades look at a whole new building because maybe there's one that's a little old and much need of, what we were looking at, an upgrade or a tear down. Ross, what's going on in Ozark?
Ozark is going through a much-needed remodel. Not so much a remodel, but a brand new building. So the existing building, we were just running out of space. We were running out of places for our employees, for all the new equipment, for just things necessary to do our job daily. And with that, we are building a new building just right adjacent to that. So it's just something that has been needed for a long time. And Brian, you've worked there for a long time.
I worked there for about 18 years, and we've needed to do this for several years because when it rains, it pours, and I mean pour in the building.
Pour inside, yeah. There's a little bit of water issues. Well, I know the employees are excited about it. They'll be able to be in that same space to collaborate and provide the best service to our members. I know our members are curious to see what's going on over there, so the cat is out of the bag, right? Excited about all the opportunities ahead. And as we meet the growing demands of our members, going on again, we live in a beautiful area that includes lakes, rivers. We've got some water crossings coming up to make sure that everybody gets the power that they need. We have these new buildings, we're prepping for fiber, and that's already showing benefits to the electric side of the business that we're excited about. I mean, helping with all the pole change outs, and that's gonna support an infrastructure for smart grid and downline devices, all helping us to serve the member better, right? It's a great day to be a co-op member. I know we're all co-op members. It's always a good day to be a co-op member, but excited about today because we get to share about the great things that we're doing to increase the opportunities for our friends in rural America. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome.